Vernon Jordan Jr. was an American business executive and civil rights activist who worked for various civil rights movement organizations before becoming a close advisor to President Bill Clinton. Jordan grew up in Atlanta, Georgia, and graduated in 1957 from the DePauw University. In the early 1960s, he started his civil rights career, most notably being a part of a team of lawyers that desegregated the University of Georgia. He then continued to work for multiple civil rights organizations until the late 1980s. In the early 1990s, he became a close ally and friend of Bill Clinton, and he served as part of Clinton's transition team. After Clinton's departure, Jordan began working with multiple corporations and investment banking firms up until his death. During the 2004 election, he worked for John Kerry's campaign. Vernon Jordan was born in Atlanta, Georgia, to Mary Bell and Vernon A. Jordan Sr. He had a brother, Windsor. He was a cousin of James Shaw, a musician who is professionally billed as the Mighty Hannibal. Jordan grew up with his family in the segregated societal cosmos of Atlanta during the 1950s. He was an honors graduate of David T. Howard High School. Rejected for a summer internship with an insurance company after his sophomore year in college. Because of his race, he earned money for college for a few summers by working as a chauffeur to former city mayor Robert Maddox, then a banker. Jordan graduated from DePauw University in Greencastle, Indiana, in 1957. In an oral history interview archived at the Louis B. Nunn Center for Oral History, an interview conducted in 1964 with Robert Penn Warren for the book Who Speaks for the Negro? Jordan described his difficulties at DePauw as the only black student in a class of 400. He earned a Juris Doctor at Howard University School of Law in 1960. He was a member of the Omega Psi Phi and Sigma Pi Phi fraternities. Jordan returned to Atlanta to join the law office of Donald L. Hollowell, a civil rights activist. The firm, including Constance Motley, sued the University of Georgia for racial discrimination in its admission policies. The suit ended in 1961 with a federal court order demanding the admission of two African Americans, Charlene Hunter and Hamilton A. Holmes. Jordan personally escorted Hunter past a group of angry white protesters to the university admissions office. After leaving private law practice in the early 1960s, Jordan became directly involved in activism in the field, serving as the Georgia field director for the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. From the NAACP, he moved to the Southern Regional Council and then to the Voter Education Project. In 1970, Jordan became executive director of the United Negro College Fund. He was president of the National Urban League from 1971 to 1981. While still with the National Urban League, Jordan in 1981 said of the Ronald Reagan administration, "I do not challenge the conservatism of this administration. I do challenge its failure to exhibit a compassionate conservatism that adapts itself to the realities of a society ridden by class and race distinction." That year he resigned from the National Urban League to take a position as legal counsel with the Washington, D.C. office of the Dallas law firm of Akin Gump Strauss Hauer and Feld. On May 29, 1980, Jordan was shot and seriously wounded outside the Marriott Inn in Fort Wayne, Indiana. He was accompanied by Martha Coleman at the time. Police thought initially that it might have been a domestic incident related to Coleman's life. Then President Jimmy Carter visited Jordan while he was recovering, an event that became the first story covered by the new network CNN. Joseph Paul Franklin was acquitted in 1982 of charges of attempted murder. However, in 1996, after having been convicted of murder in another case, Franklin admitted to having committed the shooting. Jordan, a friend and political advisor to Bill Clinton, served as part of Clinton's transition team in 1992-93. Shortly after Clinton was elected president. In the words of the New York Times, for Mr. Clinton, Mr. Jordan's roles have been manifold. Golfing companion, smoother of ruffled feathers, go-between, In 1998, Jordan helped Monica Lewinsky, a former White House intern, find a job after she left the White House, and recommended an attorney. His role was considered controversial given the scandal that the Clinton administration had suffered because of the president's involvement with the intern. And Jordan testified several times before the grand jury convened by independent counsel Kenneth Starr. On October 1, 2003, a United States Court of Appeals rejected Jordan's claim for reimbursement for legal services related to assisting Clinton in scandals regarding Lewinsky and Paula Jones. Jordan asked the government to pay him $302,719, but he was paid only $1,215. In 1998, Jordan was interviewed by CBS News television program 60 Minutes. In the impeachment